Episode 5 of the Our Coaching Network podcast for the 2026 season is here. I'm John Brice of FootballScoop.com. Pleased to be joined today by Evan Dreyer, head coach at Anderson High School just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, and the reigning 2025-26 Cincinnati Bengals Ohio High School Coach of the Year. Coach D, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here to talk a little football on this February afternoon.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. You're fresh off of a Super Bowl appearance. You didn't play, but you got to go thanks to the Bengals. And the Bengals sent you thanks to a really transcendent season at Anderson, and you've been knocking on the door of state championships for a while now, back-to-back appearances. How would you describe the Anderson Raptor program, and how would you describe specifically the run that the program has been on the last couple of years?
So we've been on a great run the last 10 years. We've built it up, and the last four, we've went to Elite Eight and Final Four, and then two state championship appearances, and we're knocking on the door to bring home a state championship. We've had 46 wins over the last 3 years, which is incredible to see our staff and players. And the foundation was set, and now we're taking a turn to make sure that we're going into the top 25 in the country as a perennial program. And I think that's going to be key as we lay the foundation, the first five, and then coming out of COVID, we've been able to make a great run and to build a program up with great players, as you see in ESPN Top 300, and to make it to the two state championship appearances is exciting for us in Cincinnati.
You have had some great players, and it's interesting hearing you talk about that. The next goal being to become a perennial top 25 national program. There's no shortage of great players. There's no shortage of great programs in that Metro Cincinnati area. How is Anderson specifically kind of separating and elevating itself in the quest to get to that next level, Evan?
I think right here, we have great academics. We're like one of the top 50% in the country and top 50% right here in the state of Ohio. So we're building it up academically, but athletically for sure. I think people have to understand college coaches come into Cincinnati to fly right in the airport, and we're about 10 minutes away from CVG. So the first stop for every college coach coming in outside of our state is right here, and to see us and see our kids working throughout the offseason in May when they stop by, it's going to be two stops for sure as they either come in or go to the airport to see our kids. So people want to be a part of it, and I think it's exciting for our program to build and to see players take the next step. We've had 4 Division I tight ends. We've had Zeke Carroll, O lineman. We've had a couple NFL players. We've taken the next step into building it and being on a national stage for sure.
You just led me right into my next question here as we visit with Evan Dreyer, head coach at Anderson High School just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm John Brice of FootballScoop.com here on the Our Coaching Network podcast. I wanted to ask you specifically about those prospects because you've been must stop for a long time for geographical reasons and for coaches of all ages, but you're becoming more of a must stop program for Power Four conference coaches. Elaborate on some of those guys. I know that I got to know Zeke Carroll a little bit since I lived part-time in South Bend, and he was at Notre Dame before he finished his career at NC State. I know you've got another prospect, another player for you who is pledged to Notre Dame in the upcoming class. So just expound a little bit on the talent pool that Anderson has developed and continues to develop as a pipeline.
Well, let's start with, we have one tight end at Louisville. We have a tight end at UCF. We have a tight end at Alabama. Then we had a safety at Bowling Green. And I think that's been key as we've had different position groups, O-line of Notre Dame to safety to now tight end. And now we have a DB committed, Ace Alston, class of 2027, to the top 100 in the country. It's exciting to see his development. He's going to be a 4-year starter. And then we have Antoine Higgins in the ESPN Top 300 coming back from the Under Armour game. That's moving from edge to linebacker, and he'll pledge soon to one of the top 5 programs in the country. So you have that, and then we have other guys in that vicinity of Division I offers in the class of 27. We have an offer kid in 2028, and that's where kind of college football is going, of how much they're recruiting earlier and getting involved. And it's exciting to see our program take that next step to see all our younger kids get offered. And as a coach, we win a lot of games. We've scored over 40 points a game for the last 8 years. And I think people want to come talk football and see our players and be around us every time the recruiting period opens up.
And once again, you're doing my job here for me. No surprise, you're providing all the perfect answers to segue into the next question. But I met you through current USC general manager Chad Bowden 5, 6 years ago. And he told me way back when that you're one of the best offensive minds he's been around anywhere. And obviously, now Chad had a decorated run at Notre Dame before jumping to USC to try to help USC return to the playoffs under Lincoln Riley. But that's always resonated with me because I respect Chad Bowden's opinion a lot. What is your offensive style? What is your makeup? What's your offensive philosophy? And 40 plus points a game is almost a point a minute in the high school game because you're playing 12-minute quarters, not 15-minute quarters.
I think the biggest thing is we average between 70, 80 plays a game, and we're going to do points per possession. Now, there's a lot of fourth down conversions that have to go with it. We have to be ultra aggressive to get to 40 points. But the key is to get so many possessions, and we're trying to get 10 possessions per game, and to make sure everyone ends with a kick, whether it's a field goal or extra points. And I think we start with fast tempo, and I've learned offense from Sean Lewis, Dino Babers, and those guys at Bowling Green with Derek Shea. And then we've evolved to now of more of, okay, what is college football is evolving, because we want to make sure you can transition from our place to the college game and understand the experience. So we definitely have college level opportunities there inside the high school game. And we're doing stuff of lane kiffing, condensed sets, throwing the ball vertical, as well as making sure our players get the ball in space to make plays. And I think that's exciting for our kids. And last year we had 5 guys over 70 receptions. We've had a quarterback either be player of the year for interconference for 4 straight years. And it's exciting to see our kids get recognized for all the hard work they put in. But offensively, we're going to go fast, throw it around to each. You have to guard the entire field, 53 and a third. And I think that's what's been so potent, is to make sure you take one thing away. We're going to go with it. And it's been key for us to be successful and our ultra tempo game to keep up with the college lifestyle that everybody wants to see on Saturday, from Lane, LSU, now Ole Miss, and then you go out to the West Coast as well. Lincoln's getting the more 12 personnel, but we've been able to get in 12 personnel as well with the 2 tight ends that we've had, 4 tight ends before.
Yeah, I'm cheating a little bit here because I see it firsthand, kind of from within the eye of the storm, so to speak. I know Doug Samuels is about to visit with my friend Jason Phillips, who's a college offensive coordinator. It's not uncommon for you to be on the phone talking ball and talking shop with college coaches around the country. What does that say about the fraternity of coaching? What does that say about the willingness of coaches everywhere to continue to want to learn, just as you want to continue to learn from anyone that you can?
I think the biggest thing is that everybody's got their own philosophy. I think I love talking to Mike Denbrock because his philosophy is very different than mine. He wants to 12 personnel. He wants to make sure he's running the football and is physical at the line of scrimmage. And we want to be physical at the line of scrimmage, but we want to throw the ball vertically to our playmakers. And then, so every coach kind of has their own mentality. And I think offensively, it's been able to adapt to your players and see what you can take from each coach, whether it's in the red zone or 3rd and shorts, or, okay, hey, what's your P and 10s? So everybody has their own mindset of what they want to fix in the offseason. And then you go on the defensive side, JB, and you talk to people and like, okay, how are they stopping? Where are they going to evolve to? And I think that's what's really, really cool about the profession, is that being around defensive coaches have made me a different offensive coach, and kind of what they're seeing and what they want to choose this offseason. And we're definitely going to take advantage of their rules and their base defense and what they're going to try to do against us.
Again, he is Evan Dreyer, reigning Cincinnati Bengals Ohio High School Coach of the Year, for the work that he's done at Anderson High School. I'm John Brice, FootballScoop.com, here on the Our Coaching Network podcast, episode 5 of the 2026 season. I want to ask you, you referenced it there. You've learned, you've grown, you've evolved. You're still a young guy, barely younger than me, but I'll acknowledge that you are just slightly older looking, but younger birth certificate than me. How about the fact, though, that you're in the Ohio High School Athletic Association record books as the youngest head coach of a high school football program in the state's history? Please tell us that story. How did it come about? And what made you mature enough at age 22 to run a high school program?
I think I got really, really lucky. I came out of college, and my first job was at Coleraine. We were top 25 that year. It was a transition from Kerry Combs, who's now at Michigan, and to Tom Bolden. And it was key for me to just learn how to build a program. And I went everywhere with Tommy that first year, and I just wanted to make sure, like, I was an assistant, but I also knew I wanted to be a head coach or coach in college. So Tommy allowed me as a young guy to learn everything, what he was doing, where he was going to go, and go to every clinic. And then after that, I took a job at Anderson High School, was their head freshman coach. And as a head freshman coach in high school program, you learn offense, defense, special teams, game management at a smaller scale. And I was really, really lucky at age 22. The guy I worked with at Coleraine, his cousin was the AD at Western Brown High School, and I got interview there and knocked it out of the ballpark. And JB, I was thrilled to be a part of that. And then kind of at age 22, you just have to figure it out. Like people who talk about, okay, what's it like being a head coach? Well, you really don't know until you get in the seat. And at this age, I'm still finding out year after year how to build and how to create a program and how to honestly we keep working to improve offense, defense, special teams, game management, what you're reading and how you're interacting with kids and how you're improving is really key to success. And people don't understand, like you can't have the same year, okay, over and over again and do the same things. You're not getting any better. And I think that's key for us is that we've been able to change and evolve, especially out of COVID when everybody was Zooming and clinicking. Like we have to do that year in, year out to keep improving. And I was really excited at age 22, made some good hires, bad hires, made some bad decisions, great decisions. And I realized that I started in the triple option offense. I was running flex bone, and I realized that I didn't want to coach that way. And I evolved that off season and went out and chose my own path and created an offensive philosophy that I still have today.
So that was back when you were a 22-year-old. Now you're getting ready to enter year 11 as Anderson's head coach, if I'm not mistaken. So what, as you enter year 11 as Anderson head coach, what's a rule or rules that you still bring with you from that very first year as a 22-year-old high school head coach in the state of Ohio?
So JB, there's three rules from Pete Carroll that I still go with, that I still believe in. Being on time, no excuses, no whining, and protect the program. Those three rules have been with me since day one. And I do think people that are out there are going to say, well, that's simplified. Well, Pete Carroll was awesome at USC, was able to win in the NFL. So please understand those three rules can be used forever. And from there, JB, I think offensively and defensively, I tell people like we want to replicate what they see on Saturday. So every kid, and I still think that's a rule when you talk about coaches, we're going to replicate what they see on Saturdays. And players over plays was the key philosophy that I've used from day one. Like, let's not overly think. It's high school football. Get the ball to our best players and go from there. Whatever the play is it going to our best guys on third down and fourth down, and we can live with it. And let's go from there and have keep it simple philosophy. But I do think do not make a rule that you can't keep, okay, throughout the season, JB. I think there's a lot of coaches that I learned when I was younger. I'd make a rule, and then 2 weeks later I'd change it. And that is, you're losing your team when your culture is being questioned because you're not following through with it. So I would tell every coach to kind of look at it and how they're defining their culture in their off season, defining their culture in season of what they're going and saying to their team on a daily basis. Are they living by it through actions and words every day? And can their players see it on a daily basis?
Once again, as we visit here with Evan Dreyer, head coach at Anderson High School just outside of Cincinnati, John Brice of Football Scoop on the Our Coaching Network podcast. I want to ask you, Evan, we've talked about the great success of Anderson, and you have become a regionally and nationally known program in recent years, both because of the college pipeline and because of the winning, especially back-to-back state championship appearances in an incredibly difficult division of Ohio football. as your program has raised its profile, how much more are you hearing from other kids around the state, other parents around the state, other coaches around the state?
I think other coaches come see us now, and we go see them. I think the biggest thing that people don't understand is like what we've done here is that everybody wants to try to replicate it. And until you see it, live it, breathe it, I think it's very hard to replicate because we don't have 100 guys on the team. We have right around 60 to 70 yearly, 10 through 12. So we don't have a huge roster, and that's fine with us. And I think in this day and age, JB, of like 7-on-7 teams and all those Nike Under Armour combines, like it's very, very hard for people to be centralized on development. And we've stayed with our development plan through and through over the 10 years. And people will come and talk to us, and parents want to know about what we do and how we do it. If you want to be developed, we still lift in the morning, and then the afternoon you get skill development, then you have a walkthrough, you have meetings just like any college style. So we run it just like that. And that to me is just going to say our kids are going to be ready to go for a Saturday afternoon in any stadium. So I think that's the one key thing when people talk about it, like what kind of high school experience do you want? If you want a college experience at the high school level, Anderson High School is right there with the top elite programs in Ohio and the country.
You've peeled back some secrets to the culture of your program, the work ethic of your program, and certainly the identity on the field of your program, particularly as an up-tempo offense. 60 to 70 players, and you're looking for 60 to 70 offensive plays. That's placing a premium on conditioning. How would you describe your program's conditioning philosophy, and how neat is it to see the buy-in from those kids, especially when the buy-in is resulting in winning the way you guys have been winning in recent years?
So it starts with our kids buying in, and like last year we started practice at 5:53 a.m. This off
553.
season,
Why
5:53.
553? I'm cutting you off because I got to know why 553.
So this first state championship, we started practice at 6 a.m. We lost by 7 points, and we had to start seven minutes earlier. And everybody bought into it, and I do think that's why we got back. It's hard to get back, and now you're trying to get back for a third time, and it's even harder. So this off season has been all about the details, and we have a timer in the weight room. It's about 8 minutes, JB, of just working your tail off, and then you get a 15-second break, and you go again. We got 5 quarters because I believe in the 4-quarter mentality. Then you always do +1, and that's why we do 5 quarters. And then we have a conditioning program that goes with it. We stole the 4th-quarter mentality that Alabama had during the Saban era. We replicate that on Tuesday and Thursdays to ensure that mentally and physically that you're not going to break in the 4th-quarter overtime. Then you hit the culture into the summertime where we go Monday through Thursday, and then we have a speed training as well and an off-campus site, which allows our kids 5 days a week of training and development with all the skill development as well. So if you love football and you want to be developed, Anderson High School is really, really good at it. That's why we have 60 to 70 players. The fringe guys either hop in or hop out. And I think that's why our motto this year is you're either all in or in the way. And either you're going to be all in to get us back to where we want to go, or you're going to be in the way, and you have to decide mentally and physically where you want to be.
Awesome. This is the Our Coaching Network podcast. I'm John Brice of FootballScoop.com. He is Evan Dreyer, head coach at Anderson High School, just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, formerly the youngest head coach in the history of Ohio high school football as a 22-year-old head coach, now one of the best coaches in the country at the high school level. You should not take my word for it. You should take the fact that you just finished coaching in the Under Armour All-American game. Quite an honor for you. What did you take from that experience? What can you tell us about the talent as it continues to elevate of these high school kids transitioning into college?
I think evaluation is key, JB, in everything. In the Under Armour game, to me, there was guys still playing that game that had chip on the shoulder that wanted to show the rankings mean something to them, and the kind of the fanfare and everything about being an all-star game. Some kids took a back seat and some kids stepped forward. And I think that was one of those things where people have to see the competitive fire and competitive excellence within those games and how they practice. And I think, to me, as a college coach, if I wanted to see an evaluation or hear about an evaluation, I'd call all those coaches up because there was definitely guys in each position group where I would bang the table for, and I would say, hey, in this game, like late to meetings, okay, late to practice, or guys that were always there early on, getting extra reps and then asking for more film, practice film, or asking for more time with coaches. I think that's part of the practice key evaluation as they transition to college because there was a lot of 4 or 5 stars down there that never have been around other 5-star guys. And I think that's part of the evaluation process of like, where are these guys playing and where they've been and what kind of experience do they have before they go on to a top 10 campus and get ready for spring football, because then that transition is really, really hard for guys. Like Sark said the other day of like guys going on in-class schedules for academics. I think some of these guys have to have that transition period of like what are they going to see in the film room and the team room in their first day of practice, where you have to make sure you have a little transition period for them.
Winding down here with Evan Dreyer on the Our Coaching Network podcast. Okay, we've talked about your climb a lot. We've talked about your journey. We've talked about the excellence of your program. I want to dig into the fact that you now not only have players you've sent to Power Conference that are going to have chances for pro careers, you've got former teammates coaching at the highest level of the sport, both at the collegiate level and at the NFL level, which is obviously best in the world. Jesse Minter, we'll start there. What are your memories of Jesse Minter? I think you said you guys were college teammates.
Jesse Minter was a college teammate. We played on the scout team together versus PJ Volker, his safeties coach. So Jesse was a receiver on our team, and he was there. And I remember sitting next to him in defensive meetings, learning from Jim Hilvert, the head coach at Baldwin Wallace at the time. And Jesse had loved football, loved being around it, and knew we wanted to be a coach from day one. And there's no question about it of what he's done and of how he's worked to get there. You know, I still remember the days of him being an intern. I'm finishing up at Mount St. Joe, started my coaching career. He went from intern to UC, then to Notre Dame. And I think he worked extremely hard and then kind of went to Indiana State, then Georgia State, and then kind of fell down. And then he worked his tail off at Baltimore. Like his coaching journey is interesting for everybody that's kind of had the ups and downs. And it's really, really cool to see a college teammate take off and be one of the 32 NFL head coaches. And to know him and to be around him is really, really impressive.
And I don't think that you'll mind me sharing this, but it doesn't seem like he's changed any. I think you guys have been in some contact since he got the Ravens head coaching job. What does that say about the individual person that Jesse Minter is?
I think to be able to talk to Jesse about football and the journey of being a head coach, for people that don't understand, like high school head coach, college head coach, NFL head coach, everybody has their own kind of issues, problems, and you can only discuss so much being in the chair and being able to talk to him about the new defensive schemes that are coming out that happen in 2026 and then going to evolve from there is exciting because I want to know what he's going to be drawing up and stopping the top tier guys in the country. And I want to know kind of how to get by it and how to score points against what people are going to draw up against us. And I think that just shows you as he gets ready for the NFL Combine that he can take time and will take time to talk to a college teammate and just talk football is really, really cool.
We're going to close here, hopefully with a fun one, and it's not about Disney, which it's awesome that you love taking your family down to Disney, and it's awesome that I have a close enough friendship with you that I can needle you about that. But I want to close with Chad Bowden because you worked with him at Anderson, I guess it was, and you made him maybe your JV head coach or your JV defensive coordinator, and I think he got ejected from a game. And I want this story now on the record.
So it was our third game together.
Third game, he waited. Honeymoon period.
So the best part about the story is, JB, they gave up the night before. We gave up like 400 rushing yards, and the following day he's like, "I'm going to stop them." Creates a new defense. Okay, well, putting a defense in an hour before the game usually doesn't work. So that day, I get a call and say Bowden was ejected for yelling at the referees, and he had to sit on the bus, okay, with the bus driver for a half. And he sat in the front seat like a little kid because he didn't know what to do. And so for a first half, he sat there, or the half, he comes back on the bus. And that was the week he decided to buy peanut butter because we didn't stop the run. So he started making peanut butter sandwiches for the entire D line because they needed to beef up. So he just bought tubs of Jif and just put it all over our locker room. And every practice, he just started making peanut butter sandwiches. To this day, I've never seen a guy get ejected, then go to Sam's Club and buy Jif tubs of it and just get white bread and just start throwing on peanut butter and say this is how we're going to get better in season after week 3.
Chad Bowden, what a story. How would you describe his defensive style? Was he as frenetic as you are on offense?
I would say ultra aggressive. I think he played the video game Blitz, NFL Blitz, where he just engaged 8 the entire time. Ultra aggressive JB. And when things didn't go his way, then he wanted to overthink and then just talk to himself on the sideline. That was the best part about being around him, was you didn't know if he was talking to you or the players or just to himself throughout the entire game.
Love it. What a great visit with Evan Dreyer. You've got players performing at all levels of college. And as you said, Ace already pledged to Notre Dame in the 27 class and ESPN top 100 recruit. You've got former colleagues, or excuse me, former teammates now coaching at the highest levels of the NFL. Evan Dreyer, a Renaissance man with your own coaching tree, having USC general manager Chad Bowden, the reigning Cincinnati Bengals Ohio Coach of the Year. Evan, thanks for visiting us.
Thank you, JB. And as always, as I end everything, go Raptors in 2026.
All right. He is Evan Dreyer, Anderson Raptors head coach. I'm John Brice of FootballScoop.com. This has been the latest Our Coaching Network podcast. Until the next one, enjoy this one. Thanks for tuning in.